our prosperous nation for every Filipino. So let us take to heart this excerpt from a prayer of national transformation written by Brother Armin Luistro. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Grant us the courage not to turn away when we see human dignity violated. Bestow on us a heart that feels the pain of those whose rights are not recognized. Empower us to be a voice for those who have been silenced and for those who continue to suffer unjustly. Grant us the light to see right from wrong and to distinguish truth from lies. Bestow on us the spirit to love unconditionally and to serve passionately the last, the lost, and the least in our communities. Empower us, Lord, to stand in solidarity with all those who are forced to endure the pain of threats, violence, and hatred. Amen.
Amen. The Secretary will please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 14 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Well, we're still conferring with the Minority Floor Leader on the... We're ready? Mr. President, I'd like to
Jordan.
acknowledge our Minority Floor Leader.
The Minority Leader is recognized.
Yes. We are now on the approval of the journal of the previous session. Is that the item of the
That's
agenda?
correct, sir. That is correct, sir.
Mr. President.
We have not entertained a motion to that effect.
Yes. Yesterday, Mr. President, we asked for a deferment because we wanted to review the journal, particularly insofar as it referred to our amendments, as we had a number of amendments, Mr. President. So we wish to correct the journal before the same is submitted for the approval of the body. On page 2,191, if the Honorable Majority Leader of the Journal of Session number 79, page 2191, instead of, on the left column, the amendment which is referred to as the Drilon Amendment, there is a typo error. Instead of flying routes, it should be flying
With a P.
with a P, sir. So again, we would, if we would repeat on page 2191, we move to correct the word flying with plying. It said a P instead of an F. Other than that typographical error, we find the journal in order, Mr. President.
All right, with that in
you.
mind, may we now entertain a motion to...
Yes, Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journals of the 78th session, May 28, 29, and 30, 2018, and the 79th session, May 30 to 31, 2018, with, of course, the amendments done by our good colleague from the Minority Floor Leader, Senator Frank Drilon, together with the approval of the reading, rather, of this first session, July 23, 2018, of the third regular session of the 17th Congress, and consider them as approved. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, the motion of the Majority Leader is approved.
Yes, before we move on to other matters, Mr. President, we'd just like to acknowledge the presence of our good friend from Israel, the Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Israel, Ambassador Ben Matitiao, who's with us here today, together with cooperative leaders from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, headed by Congressman Ben Canama, who are guests of Senator Villar, Senator Angara, myself, Senator Ejercito, and Senator Pimentel. And we also have mayors from different parts of the country, Mayor Trixie Fernandez and Councilor Nino Fernandez of San Enrique, Iloilo, Mayor Edgardo Timbol of Capalong, Davao del Norte, Mayor Anthony Wooden of Tadyan, Mountain Province, and we also have members of the Negros Press Club that are here with us today from Bacolod City. All the guests in today's gallery, Mr. President.
We would like to welcome all the guests mentioned by the Majority Leader. Welcome to the Philippine Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we have a lot of third reading bills to take up with the permission of the body. Before we take up resolutions, probably let's do the third reading with the permission of the body, Your Honors.
Well, yes, with the consent of the chamber, we can
With
do
the
that.
consent
And by
of
the
the
way,
chamber.
before you start, may I just inform the members of the Senate that right after the third reading bills, we will call for a all-senator caucus in the Senator's Lounge.
With the permission probably of, if the body will allow us, maybe two Senate resolutions to be adopted, Your Honor, as the chair,
We
the
can do
ambassador
that,
from Israel will
likewise.
be here. And together
Yes.
with the resolution congratulating Senator Manny Pacquiao for his triumphant historic win.
Yes, we can do that before the
At
before
39
the-
years young.
the caucus.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number, or Senate Bill number 1749, and request the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure.
Senate Bill number 1749, an act to improve land transportation terminal, stations, stops, rest areas, and roll-on, roll-off terminals, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes.
Majority Leader.
The status of the measure, Mr. President, that we have approved it on second reading on, before we took our break in May. Therefore, complying with the 3-day requirement, printed copies of the bill were distributed to all the members. And I move to approve on third reading, request for a roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote. The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri. Senate President Soto III.
With 18 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, Senate Bill 1749 is approved on third reading.
Before we move to the other third reading approvals, Mr. President, I'd like to make an omnibus motion for the record that all of these...
May we recognize Senator Coco Pimentel?
Oh, yes, sir. No, no.
Senator Grace Poe, Mr. President. I'm sorry, Senator Grace Poe is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank this chamber for the speedy approval and third reading of Senate Bill number 1749, to our Majority Leader also, under Committee Report number 286. This is the proposed Land Terminal Improvement Act. With the approval of this measure, our land and roll-on, roll-off terminals will become oasis for our travelers. Una sa lahat, hindi na parang premyo sa game show ang malinis na palikuran sa mga terminal. Dapat lahat malinis at walang kinokolekta para gamitin ng mga CR. Para sa mga kapwa kong nanay, although lagpas na ako sa edad nito, nalagyan ng breastfeeding station ang bawat terminal. And for the Instagram and Facebook generation, or for those who need to send important messages, we will require free internet, Wi-Fi, or broadband to be provided in these terminals. To borrow a phrase from our Senate President, kung saan ka man pumunta mula Batanes hanggang Holo para magpalamig sa Baguio mag-surfing sa Baler, kumain ng buyos sa Pangasinan, o magkape sa Batangas. You can expect a brief yet pleasant respite in our terminals. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. We place on record the
Thank you.
explanation of the vote of Senator Grace Poe.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
So I would just like to make an omnibus motion that all of these third reading, for approval of third reading, had complied with the third reading, three-day requirement rather, and all the printed copies were distributed to the members. So moving forward, Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 5581 under Committee Report number 383. This is, and we'd like to ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act establishing the Soc Sargent General Hospital in the Municipality of Suralya, Province of South Cotabato, and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, I would like to
Roll
move
call vote.
to approve on third and final reading House Bill number 5581 and request for roll call vote.
The Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 19 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 5581 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number 6521 and request the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure. House Bill 6521.
An act upgrading the Bataan Provincial Hospital in the province of Bataan into a level 3 teaching and training hospital to be now known as the Bataan General Hospital and Medical Center and appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading House Bill number 6521, request for the roll call vote.
The Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, the Senate President Soto III.
With 20 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 6521 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, move to resume consideration on House Bill number 6551 and request the Secretary to read the title.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act converting the Bicol Sanitarium in the municipality of Cabusao, province of Camarines Sur, into a geriatric and general medical center to be known as the Bicol Regional Geriatric Medical Center, upgrading its service facilities, authorizing the increase of its medical personnel, and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading Senate Bill number 6551, request for roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Poe, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 20 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 6551 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration House Bill number 639 and request Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act providing for the establishment of a district hospital in the municipality of Santa Elena, province of Camarines Norte, and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading and ask for a roll call vote.
The Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 20 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 639 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number 1955. Request Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act increasing the bed capacity of Rizal Medical Center in Pasig City from 300 to 500 beds and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, move to approve on third and final reading. Request for a roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 19 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 1955 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number 2849 and request for Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act increasing the bed capacity of Veterans Regional Hospital in Bayumbong, Nueva Vizcaya from 200 to 500, upgrading its services, facilities, and professional health care, authorizing the increase of its medical personnel, changing its name to Region 2 Trauma and Medical Center, and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, I move that we approve on third and final reading and request for roll call vote.
The Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 19 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 2849 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, move to resume consideration on House Bill number 4274 and ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act upgrading the Southern Isabela General Hospital in Santiago City, Province of Isabela, into a tertiary general hospital to be known as the Southern Isabela Medical Center and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, move to approve on third and final reading. Ask for a roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, the Senate President Soto.
19 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 4274 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, move to resume consideration on House Bill numbers 5556 and ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act extending for another 25 years the franchise granted to Isla Communications Company Incorporated, presently known as Innove Communications Incorporated, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 7372, entitled An Act Granting the Isla Communications Company a franchise to install, operate, and maintain telecommunications services within the territory of the Republic of the Philippines and international points and for other purposes.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading. Request for a roll call vote.
Roll call vote will be conducted by the Secretary.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
The Senator Lacson is recognized.
Mr. President, for reason that I prefer to keep to myself, I abstain.
The Secretary will register an abstention of the Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So with 17 affirmative votes, no negative votes, 2 abstentions, House Bill 5556 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number 58 580 and ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act upgrading the Amay Pakpak Medical Center in Marawi City, Province of Lanao del Sur, and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading. Ask for a roll call vote.
The Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 20 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstention, House Bill 5880 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number 6389 and ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act upgrading the services and facilities of the La Union Medical Center in the municipality of Agoo, province of La Union, by increasing its bed capacity to 300 and establishing a trauma center therein, authorizing the increase of its personnel and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, move to approve on third and final reading and request for a roll call vote.
The Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 20 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6389 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of House Bill number 6619 and ask the Secretary to read the title.
The Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act increasing the bed capacity of Baguio General Hospital and Medical Center from 500 to 800 beds and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading. Ask for a roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 21 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6619 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 6711 and ask the Secretary to read the title.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act upgrading the Dr. Paulino J. Garcia Memorial Research and Medical Center Extension Hospital in the municipality of Talavera, province of Nueva Ecija, to a Level 2 hospital and increasing its bed capacity from 50 to 100 beds, to be now known as the Talavera General Hospital and appropriating funds therefore.
President, I move to approve on third and final reading and request for a roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
21 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6711 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 6294. Ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title.
An act increasing the bed capacity of the Biliran Provincial Hospital in its proposed relocation site in Barangay Larrazabal, Municipality of Nabal, Province of Biliran, from 75 to 200 beds and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading. Request for a roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 22 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6294 is approved on third reading.
President, move to resume consideration of House Bill number 6311 as Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act increasing the bed capacity of the Nara Municipal Hospital in the municipality of Nara, province of Palawan, from 10 to 100 bed capacity, and naming it as the Governor Alfredo Mendoza Abueg Senior Memorial Hospital and appropriating funds therefor.
Mr. President, I move to approve on third and final reading and request for a roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 22 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6311 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of House Bill number 6618 and request for Secretary to read the title.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act establishing a 100-bed capacity hospital in Barangay Habay 2 in the city of Bacoor, province of Cavite, to be known as the Bacoor District Hospital and appropriating funds therefor.
Mr. President, move to approve on third and final reading and ask for a roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 22 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6618 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration of House Bill number 6620. Ask Secretary to read the title.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act increasing the capacity of St. Anthony Mother and Child Hospital in Cebu City from 25 to 100 and appropriating funds therefor.
Mr. President, move for a third reading approval and ask Secretary for a roll call vote.
Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 22 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6620 is approved on third reading.
Mr. President, I move to resume consideration on House Bill number 6740. Ask Secretary to read the title of the measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act upgrading the Labuan Public Hospital in Zamboanga City into a Level 2 hospital to be known as the Labuan General Hospital, increasing its bed capacity for general care services to 100 and appropriating funds therefor.
Thank you, Mr. President, I move for approval on third reading. Oh, wait, 1 second, Mr. President. Ano yung amin mo ito? Okay. Yes, Mr. President, I move to approve on third reading and ask the Secretary for a roll call vote.
The Secretary will conduct a roll call vote.
Roll call vote, the Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Onasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Legarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Pimentel, Po, Recto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Zubiri, Senate President Soto III.
With 22 affirmative votes, no negative votes, no abstentions, House Bill 6740 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd just like to put on record and manifest that there were three bills that have Senate counterparts. House Bill number 5581 has a counterpart, Senate Bill number 1586. House Bill number 6521 also has Senate Bill number 1649. And House Bill number 6551 has a Senate counterpart, Senate Bill number 1654. For the record, Mr. President. Just for...
We place that on record.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
President.
you, the Majority Leader.
I believe Senator Ejercito...
Sa 386.
Senator Ejercito is recognized.
May I ask for 1 minute suspension, Mr. President?
1 minute suspension.
Mag-aamen.
Ready to resume, Mr. President.
The session is resumed.
Yes, Mr. President. With the permission of the body, I move to consider proposed Senate Resolution 788, taking into consideration Senate Resolution number 789 and 799. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The resolutions 788, 789, and 799
99.
are considered in
President,
order.
may I request the Secretary to read the title of the
The Secretary will read the title of the measure, and the Chair yields to the President Pro Temp, Senator Ralph Recto.
Resolution congratulating Filipino ring sensation Senator Manny Pacman Pacquiao for defeating the reigning World Boxing Association WBA welterweight champion Lucas Matisa to claim the title in their boxing match held on July 15, 2018 at the Axiata Arena in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Mr. President, the measure is now in the period of sponsorship, and I would like to recognize the Senate President to deliver his sponsorship speech. Dito ka naman.
Senate President is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to sponsor PS Resolution 788, taking into consideration PS Resolution 789 and 799, to congratulate and commend our colleague, Senator Manny Pacquiao, in his return to the roster of world championships in the field of professional boxing. This is after our distinguished colleague, Senator Manny Pacquiao, defeated the reigning World Boxing Association WBA welterweight champion from Argentina, Lucas Matisi. Senator Manny promoted in this particular fight in Malaysia 11 bouts and 4 world titles at stake that brought together 22 fighters that represented 13 countries coming from 4 continents. This is a world first, Mr. President. And to top this all, he has always dedicated and delivered entertainment to all the boxing aficionados, especially the Filipino fans. In all his fights, he has always lamented his kind of devotedness to all his pre- and post-fight interviews. As always, Senator Pacquiao has carried the country's colors to bring pride, joy, and honors to the Filipino citizenry. Now, our colleague is back to discharge his constitutional duties of being a legislator of the land, to be part of the Philippine Senate, committed to pass landmark legislations to better the life of the Filipino people. So it is in this point that I urge my colleagues, our colleagues, to join this representation to congratulate the Honorable Senator from Sarangani for his relentless dedication to always bring glory to the Philippine nation, both inside and outside the boxing ring. Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, my co-sponsorship speech, as well as the co-sponsorship speech of Senator Angara, would like to be placed or inserted to the records so that we can hasten the proceedings.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
And Mr. President, there is a request from almost everyone in the room that all members be made co-authors of the said measure, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
There be no member to register, registered to interpolate rather the measure. I move to close the period of interpolation, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Nor also no committee or individual amendments. I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to adopt proposed Senate Resolution 788, taking consideration 789 and 799, subject to style, and all members of the Senate as co-authors, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Resolution is adopted.
I believe Senator Pacquiao would like to say a few words.
Senator Pacquiao, the varsity member of the Senate, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to respond to to the resolutions of congratulations and commendations. Thank you, Mr. President, Senator Rap Ricto and Senator G.V. Ercito for your presence and moral support, especially to our Senate President Soto. Thank you for your moral support, and you came to Malaysia to watch personally the fight. During my fight in Malaysia, I really appreciate it, and thank you, Majority Leader, Floor Leader Senator Mig Suberi, and my friend Senator Rosani Angara, who is celebrating his birthday today, for joining our Senate President in filing the resolutions. I deeply appreciate all of your prayers and support, as well as your greetings on local media. Thank you for upholding me and Team Pacquiao in prayers. Thank you for honor and recognition that you have given me, fellow senators. Nagpapasalamat po ako sa sambayan ng Pilipino sa dasal at pagmamahal at suporta ninyo. My victory is not just for me and my family, it is for our country and for God's greater glory. Let me take this opportunity to clarify one thing. My heart is okay. My heart is healthy. I feel stronger and younger than ever. My heart will continue to beat with love and compassion for our people. I will continue to honor God and our country with excellence and integrity, inside and outside the ring, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Majority Leader, congratulations, Senator Pacquiao. Majority Leader.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. President. We just had this side discussion with the Senate Minority Leader on what will commemorate the victory of the gentleman from Mindanao. So we are awaiting the commemorative gift. Mr. President. Mr. President, before we have one last item in the agenda before we suspend for our caucus. It's our Israel-Philippine Friendship Day. With the permission of the body, that being the good ambassador from Israel is here today, I would like to consider proposed Senate Resolution number 757. I so move, Mr. President.
The Israeli ambassador is welcome. Is there any objection to tackle the resolution? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'd like to ask the Secretary, Mr. President, to read the title of the measure.
Please proceed.
Resolution expressing the sense of the Senate to fully promote, support, and enhance the Philippines-Israel relations, a Philippines-Israel Parliamentary Friendship Association be established.
Thank you, Mr. President. According to my seatmates, to sponsor the measure is the resident Jew of the Senate, Senator Dick Gordon, that is according to them. But actually, Mr. President, I also have roots, Jewish roots. My father is Jose Rubin Zubiri. We come from the Rubin clan, Rubin de Celis. So we are Spanish Jews that migrated from Spain to the Philippines. So, Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, may we recognize Senator Richard Dick
Senator Gordon, our class representative is recognized.
Thank you very much to the acting Senate President right now, the class treasurer. I don't know why, but he's the class treasurer. I'm not going to object to that. Mr. President, before I proceed, I would like to join all of us here in congratulating our good friend and certainly a well-deserved champion. I believe this is his ninth championship after having 69 bouts, and certainly he deserves all the praise of the entire country. He lifts our soul to the highest heavens for his courage and determination. Congratulations, Senator Pacquiao. I rise today, Mr. President, to sponsor a resolution that I think should have been done a long, long time ago. After all, this country was one of the first countries to join hands with on the altar of humanity. The 1,300 European Jews that came on board a vessel that was refused entry in other countries. It is to our credit, to the credit of President Manuel Quezon, who accepted the European Jews who came here right before the advent of World War II. And Mr. President, I think that this is a very good day for me, and I'm sure for everyone else as well, to know that in 1947, the Philippines was one of the 33 countries to vote in favor of the United Nations Resolution 181 that outlined the partition of Palestine and created the State of Israel. And Mr. President, we have had diplomatic relations with the State of Israel since 9 August 1957, which constitutes 60 years of diplomatic relationships. And for 17 bilateral agreements in several fields such as air services, agriculture, tourism, double taxation, posts, and telecommunications, customs and logistics, and defense industry. Now, Mr. President, Israel is a highly developed country. In fact, I think it's going to rise to number 15 in ranking in terms of development throughout the entire world. Mr. President, Israel also boasts of 13 Nobel laureates. I thought there were more, but I didn't think they included all the Jews in the past who have received Nobel Awards. This is just during the time of the State of Israel. And certainly, this is a nation that has been besieged. They've been in a diaspora for over 2,000 years, and certainly they have proven their point that when they got back, they started to go back to Israel, Mr. President, they have risen and in a very, very hard-earned fashion, fighting several major wars to make sure that they could fight for their place and making sure that deserts are transformed into vineyards, and communities are defended, as well as have become very productive communities in the kibbutz system, as well as made sure that they decided to speak one national language, Hebrew, from a smattering of so many nationalities that came back from the diaspora to go back to Israel. People come from all over Europe, from the United States, and certainly even from Africa, from Ethiopia, and from the other countries in Africa. And Mr. President, Israel is a country to emulate in terms of their determination to rise as a country, to defend their country, and certainly we can learn quite a bit of that. I mean, they started in 1948 when they achieved their independence the hard way. And to me, that is a very, very good exemplar. And it took a while before the other countries of the world decided to recognize them. So when I had a visit to Israel and met with the deputy speaker of the Knesset, who happened to be a lady by the name of Nava Boker, whose husband was a hero in his own right, having died fighting a forest fire. Mr. President, we both talked about our relationship, and I was surprised to find out that we have not had any parliamentary friendship association. And she asked me about it, and we both agreed that we would do so. I informed, and to the credit of Senator, and now then Senate President Coco Pimentel, about it, and right away the Senate President said we should have that relationship and we should invite them to come here. Of course, we were also invited to go to Israel, and certainly during that visit, this representation learned an awful lot, and immediately, so far as the Philippine Red Cross is concerned, we have gotten an upgrade on our operations center. They have one of the best in the world, if not the best, and so it's not because of material benefit that I rise here today, but because there really are indeed quite a bit of things that we can learn from. About 3,133 or more Filipinos go to Israel to learn agriculture. And what was disturbing to me is that when they come back, the country does not utilize their talents. In fact, right now, Mr. President, I'm trying to find out how we can, as a Senate, upgrade the quality of our population in terms of agriculture, in terms of technology, in terms of many, many other things that Israel has been helpful with. Certainly, Israel is also helping us in our security arrangements, in the training of many of our people in terms of disasters and in terms of our armed forces. So it is great pleasure that immediately thereafter I spread during the break to the senators if they would be interested in helping formulate the Parliamentary Friendship Association between the Philippines and the State of Israel. And right away, of course, Senator Pimentel, at that time Senate President, and of course Senate President Tito Soto right away responded. Nancy Binay, Chis Escudero, Senator Pacquiao, Grace Poe, Ralph Recto, Cynthia Villar, of course Juan Miguel Zubiri, all responded. And just to be sure, I spread the word around here today for those who were not able to answer, and of course and I'm glad I'm saying this in front of the Israeli ambassador, and show you the great will or goodwill that we have in our hearts here. You can see the list there. Senator Greg Honasan, Senator Ping Lacson, Senator Lagarda. Of course, I didn't want, I know that Frank Leon would want to be here, and certainly I personally talked to Frank, Senator Drilon, and Win Gatchalian, and Joey Villanueva, Sani Angara, Ping Lacson, Bam Aquino, and Kiko Pagadinan, and Antonio Trillanes, and certainly Risa Ontiveros. That means 21 of us.
Senator JV, sir, siya lang kulang, wala po siya. Baka we can include Senator JV.
I was going to say that because I was really teasing him, and otherwise, I'm sure he's going to take umbrage because the authorship of the Universal Health Insurance Law was taken away from him yesterday. But I'm sure he will be part of this. So Senator J.V. Ersto should be part of this. I thought he was already here because I spoke with him. If I missed anybody, certainly you're all, everybody has signed up. And Mr. President, I would like to ask formally the body now so that we can present the resolution to the ambassador who came here to come and witness the resolution, the formal approval of the resolution. I would like to respectfully request the Senate to approve this unanimously. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Gordon. Majority Leader.
Thank
There
you,
is a
Mr.
motion,
President.
yes.
Mr. President, no members registered to interpolate on the measure, including Senator JV. Senator JV, you don't need to interpolate, no? They included you already sa list, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, there being none, move that the period of interpolation is closed.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, there will be no committee and individual amendment. I move to close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to adopt proposed Senate Resolution 757, taking, and subject to style. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's just one last request of our dear colleague, Senator De Lima. Mr. President, we are in receipt of the manifestation of Senator Laila De Lima on the ratification of the bicameral conference committee report on the Bangsamoro Organic Law. I move that her manifestation or her statement on the sponsorship of the measure be inserted into the record.
Is
I so
there
move,
any-
Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ask for 1 minute suspension.
Mr. President,
Oh, Senator Gordon, Mr.
I
President.
understand
Senator
that
Gordon is
the Senate
recognized.
President has already signed the resolution. So if we can ask the ambassador to come forward, he can present the resolution in as much as we just ratified.
Yes.
Majority
President,
Leader.
Yes, so we can suspend session now to give the awards to Senator Manny Pacquiao and the resolution as well to the Israeli ambassador, then for all of us to proceed to our majority caucus, or the all-member caucus, rather, in the lounge, Mr. President. So I move to suspend Senate session.
Session is suspended.
Oo, dalawa. Sino na una? O, si Manny na una. Akin na yan. Okay na. O, ikaw. Big, salika.
Swerte tayo sa natin.
Session is resumed. The Majority Leader.
Mr. President, my apologies. I may have to ask you to suspend for one more minute as we are still waiting for the sponsor of the Dingvaksha supplemental budget, Mr. President.
Session is suspended.
Thank you. We're waiting for the minute. Ma'am, baka pwedeng Gentlemen, ladies, can we ask for copies of that resolution to be... Boss, bukas na lang. Yes, yes. Okay. So, ano muna tayo? Ready to resume, Mr. President?
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
The Secretary would proceed with the reference of business.
Ito, ang unahin ko. Messages from the House. Message from the House of Representatives. Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 28 May 2018, it passed the following House bills in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. House number 7003 entitled An Act Dividing Barangay Adams in the Municipality of Adams, Province of Ilocos Norte into two distinct and independent barangays to be known as Barangay Adan and Barangay Bucarot. Referred to the committee.
Referred to the Committees on Local Government and Electoral Reforms and People's Participation.
House number 7388 entitled An Act Granting Philippine Citizenship to Bruce Donald McTavish.
Referred to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights.
House number 7445 entitled An Act Promoting the Development of Entrepreneurship Skills Among Government Employees to Inspire Innovativeness and to Ensure Their Productivity Even Beyond Government Service.
Referred to the Committees on Trade, Civil Service, and Finance.
House number 7455 entitled An Act Granting Another Period to File Manifestation of Intention to Validate Titles issued under Civil Reservation Case number 1, GLRO Record number 211, pursuant to Republic Act number 931 as amended, and as provided under Presidential Decree number 1271 as amended.
Referred to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights.
House number 7465 entitled An Act Requiring New Personnel of the Bureau of Fire Protection to be Certified Emergency Medical Technicians, amending for the purpose Sections 3 and 8 of Republic Act number 9263 as amended, otherwise known as the Bureau of Fire Protection and Bureau of Jail Management and Penology Professionalization Act of 2004.
Referred to the Committees on Public Order and Health.
House number 7506 entitled An Act Establishing the National Mariculture Program and Providing Funds Therefore.
Referred to the Committee on Agriculture, Finance.
An act requiring the Philippine Postal Corporation to print postage stamps depicting Philippine tourist attractions and destinations and to affix these stamps on outgoing mail matters to attract foreign tourists.
Referred to the Committees on Tourism and Finance.
House number 7525 entitled An Act Increasing the Monthly Pension of Senior Veterans, thereby amending Republic Act number 6948 as amended.
Referred to the Committees on National Defense and Finance.
House number 7402 entitled An Act Promoting Telecommuting as an Alternative Work Arrangement for Employees in the Private Sector.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
House number 7442 entitled An Act Providing for the Special Protection of Children in Situations of Armed Conflict and Providing Penalties for Violations thereof.
Referred to the Committees on Women, National Defense, and Finance.
House number 7446 entitled An Act Providing a Socialized Microfinancing Program for Microenterprises, thereby promoting entrepreneurship.
Referred to the Committees on Trade and Finance.
House number 7496 entitled An Act Providing for the Delineation of the Specific Forest Limits of the Public Domain and for Other Purposes.
Referred to the Committees on Environment and Local Government and Finance.
House number 7522 entitled An Act Reapportioning the Province of Aklan into two legislative districts.
Referred to Committees on Local Government and Electoral Reforms.
House number 7778, an act reapportioning the province of Isabela into 6 legislative districts.
Referred to the Committees on Local Government, Electoral Reforms.
House Number 6290, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery in the Municipality of Libmanan, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 6289, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery in the Municipality of Minalabac, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 6291, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery in the Municipality of Pasacao, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 6292, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery in the Municipality of San Fernando, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 7479, entitled An Act Providing for the Construction of a Fish Port in the Municipality of Minglanilla, Province of Cebu, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture, Public Works, and Finance.
House Number 7484, entitled An Act Establishing a Fisheries Research Center in the Municipality of Abulog, Province of Cagayan, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 7485, entitled An Act Establishing a Fish Port in the Municipality of St. Bernard, Province of Southern Leyte, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture, Public Works, and Finance.
House Number 7490, entitled An Act Establishing Multipurpose Fish and Shrimp Hatcheries in all suitable areas in the 1st District of the Province of Nueva Ecija, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 7491, entitled An Act Establishing a Provincial Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Training, Development, and Product Center in the Province of Aklan, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 7497, entitled An Act Establishing an Aquatic Research and Experimental Breeding Station for lake, river, and other inland fishes in the 1st District of the Province of Nueva Ecija, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 7501, entitled An Act Declaring San Roque Cathedral in Caloocan City as a National Landmark and Shrine for History, Freedom, and Independence, calling for its preservation and improvement, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Education and Finance.
House Number 7502, entitled An Act Declaring Cannon Road traversing Baguio City and the Municipality of Tuba, Province of Benguet, as a National Heritage Zone, providing for its conservation, restoration, rehabilitation, and development, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Education, Tourism, and Finance.
House Number 7521, entitled An Act Declaring the Kalanay Falls and its premises located in the Municipality of Palanas, Province of Masbate, an ecotourism site, establishing the Kalanay Falls Ecotourism Council, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Environment, Tourism, and Finance.
House Number 7500, entitled An Act Establishing a Freshwater Multi-Species Hatchery and Research Center in the Municipality of Baloi, Province of Lanao del Norte, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
House Number 7549, entitled An Act Establishing a Campus of the Bulacan State University in the Municipality of San Rafael, Province of Bulacan, to be known as the Bulacan State University San Rafael Campus, mandating it to offer graduate, undergraduate, and short-term technical vocational courses thereat, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Education and Finance.
And House Number 7550, entitled An Act Establishing a Campus of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, PUP, in the Municipality of Bansud, Province of Oriental Mindoro, to be known as the PUP Bansud Campus, mandating the PUP to offer thereat graduate, undergraduate, and short-term technical vocational courses, and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Education and Finance.
Bills on first reading. Senate Number 1828, entitled An Act Providing for the Reorganization of the Philippine National Police and appropriating funds therefor.
Referred to the Committees on Public Order and Finance.
Senate Number 1829, entitled An Act Providing for the Protection of Financial Consumers and Other Purposes, introduced by Senator Escudero.
Referred to the Committees on Banks, Trade, Banks and Trade.
Senate Number 1830, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery in the Municipality of Minalabak, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Cynthia A. Villar.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
Senate Number 1831, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery in the Municipality of Pasacao, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Cynthia A. Villar.
To the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
Senate Number 1832, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery in the Municipality of Libmanan, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Cynthia A. Villar.
To the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
Senate Number 1833, entitled An Act Establishing a Multi-Species Marine Hatchery at the Municipality of San Fernando, Province of Camarines Sur, and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Cynthia A. Villar.
To the Committees on Agriculture and Finance.
Senate Number 1834, entitled An Act Transferring the Philippine National Police Academy, PNPA, and National Police Training Institute, NPTI, from the Philippine Public Safety College, PPSC, to the Philippine National Police, PNP, amending for the purpose Section 67 of Republic Act Number 6975 as amended by Republic Act Number 8551, introduced by Senator Escudero.
To the Committees on Public Order, Education, and Finance.
Senate Number 1835, an act establishing a patient's equity to support out-of-pocket expense value, appropriating funds therefore, and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito.
Referred to the Committees on Health, Government Corporations, and Finance.
Senate Number 1836, entitled An Act Institutionalizing an Emergency Medical Services System, providing for the establishment, supervision, and regulation of emergency medical services profession, and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito.
To the Committees on Health, Local Government, and Finance.
Senate Number 1837, entitled An Act Strengthening the Regulation of Health Facilities in the Philippines, repealing for the purpose Republic Act Number 4226, otherwise known as the Hospital Licensure Act, and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito.
To the Committees on Health and Finance.
Senate Number 1838, entitled An Act Establishing the Zamboanga del Norte Sports Academy and Training Center in the Municipality of Gutalac, Province of Zamboanga del Norte, and appropriating funds therefore, introduced by Senator Zubiri.
Referred to the Committees on Sports and Finance.
Senate Number 1839, entitled An Act Replacing the Quantitative Import Restrictions on Rice with Tariffs, lifting the quantitative export restrictions on rice and corn, and creating the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 8178 as amended, and for other purposes, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committees on Agriculture, Ways and Means, and Finance.
Resolutions. PS Resolution Number 750, entitled Resolution Directing the Proper Senate Committees to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the Status of Implementation of the Social Mitigating Measures under the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Law, introduced by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Referred to the Committees on Ways and Means and Social Justice.
PS Resolution Number 751, entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the Influx of Chinese Nationals in the Philippines and related issues on the effective implementation of immigration and labor laws, with the end in view of enacting amendments to the existing legislation to prevent surge migration, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
Referred to the Committees on Labor and Committee on Justice.
PS Resolution Number 752, entitled Resolution Directing the Proper Senate Committees to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation on the Tourism Development of Burnham Park, introduced by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Referred to the Committee on Tourism.
PS Resolution Number 753, entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committees to Conduct an Inquiry in Aid of Legislation into Government's Emerging Strategy for Rural Electrification and the Policies and Programs to Support Electric Cooperatives in Servicing Filipino Communities and Achieving the Sector's Mandate for Total Rural Electrification, introduced by Senator Paolo Benigno Bam Aquino IV.
Referred to the Committee on Energy.
PS Resolution Number 754, entitled Resolution Declaring as Read and Approved the Journal of the 79th Session of the Senate, introduced by Senator Zubiri.
To the Archives.
PS Resolution Number 755 entitled Resolution Authorizing the Production and Distribution of 20 Printed and 100 Digital Copies of the Journal and the Record of the Senate for the Second Regular Session of the 17th Congress of the Philippines, introduced by Senator Zubiri.
To the archives.
PS Resolution Number 756 entitled Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the government transactions involving Chinese blacklisted firms in the Bangon Marawi program, introduced by Senator Laila M. De Lima.
Referred to the Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations.
PS Resolution Number 757 entitled Resolution Expressing the Sense of the Senate to Fully Promote, Support, and Enhance the Philippines-Israel Relations, a Philippine-Israel Parliamentary Friendship Association be established, introduced by Senator Richard Gordon.
To the Committee on Rules.
PS Resolution Number 758 entitled Resolution Directing the Senate Committee on Government Corporations and Public Enterprises to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the mandate, powers, and responsibilities of the Philippine Reclamation Authority, PRA, under its charter, rules and regulations, and other issuances, with the end in view of introducing reforms, revisions, and amendments if necessary to ensure that the real properties held by PRA for the state are being administered or operated efficiently, economically, and to the best interest of the public, introduced by Senator Cynthia A. Villar.
Referred to the Committee on Government Corporations and Public Enterprises.
PS Resolution Number 759 entitled A Resolution Directing the Appropriate Senate Committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation into the status, sustainability, and risks of projects under the Build program and the modes of financing entered or to be entered into by the government to fund the same, introduced by Senator Win Gatchalian.
Referred to the Committee on Economic Affairs.
Committee reports. Committee report number 394 submitted jointly by the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance on House number 5577, introduced by Representative Noel et al., entitled An Act Mandating the Conservation of Gabaldon School Buildings Nationwide, Providing Penalties for Violations, and Appropriating Funds Therefore. Recommending its approval with amendments taking into consideration Senate numbers 1481 and 1506, sponsor Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 395 submitted by the Committee on Finance on House number 7449, introduced by Representative Alvarez et al., entitled An Act Appropriating the Sum of 1,161,710,000 pesos as supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2018 and for other purposes, recommending its approval without amendment, taking into consideration Senate numbers 1794, 1795, and 1769, sponsor Senator Legarda.
To the calendar for ordinary business. There is additional reference of business. The Majority Leader, would you like to take it up now, or would you like to, after the sponsorship? There are numerous communications, so perhaps we can do this tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Is there any House bill pertaining to intersections?
Intersection, sir?
Wala ba? Wala? Never mind.
Sir.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. President. Ma'am Lauren, are you ready? Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to the calendar for special order, House Bill number 7449. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. House Bill 7449 is in order.
And I move to consider House Bill 7449, request the Secretary to read the title of the measure, Mr. President.
May I ask Secretary to read the title of the measure?
An act, House number 7449, an act appropriating the sum of 1,161,710,000 as supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2018 and for other purposes.
Mr. President, I move to recognize our very own Tita Ganda of the Senate,
This
the
is,
muse of, according to some
before you do
individuals.
that,
Yes, Mr.
this was referred to the calendar for ordinary business. Have we transferred it already?
Yes, Mr. President, I moved, that was my first
Okay.
motion,
All right.
to move from the calendar to ordinary
Thank you.
business
So
to
we are
special.
now ready to recognize.
Yes, Mr. President, please recognize the beautiful Chairman of the Finance Committee.
Thank you
Chairman
very
of the
much,
Finance
Mr.
Committee is
President.
recognized.
I appreciate the kind words of the Majority Leader. However, I think that those adjectives trivializes the work that I do, which entails much more than looks and beauty. Okay, I appreciate it, but really, it's not. I don't consider it a compliment. I think it trivializes the quality of the work I do in this institution.
I withdraw all those adjectives.
Yeah. But really, yes, but thank you very much. I know it was said with full kindness and also in jest. Yes. So, Mr. President, esteemed colleagues in the Senate, it is my honor to sponsor today Committee Report number 395 on House Bill 7449 covering the supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2018 in the amount of 1,161,710,000 pesos, which amount is intended to provide for the much-needed health assistance to the Dengvaxia vaccinees. This committee report likewise takes into consideration the following Senate bills. Senate Bill numbers 1794 and 1795, filed by this representation and Senator Richard Gordon, respectively. Both have the same titles as House Bill 7449. And Senate Bill number 1769, filed by Senator J.V. Ejercito, which is an act establishing the medical assistance program for the Dengvaxia vaccinees and appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. According to the Department of Health, this health assistance program for Dengvaxia vaccinees will be composed of the following: medical assistance program, which will be allocated 945 million pesos or 81% of the fund. Public health management, or 148 million pesos or 13% of the fund. And human resources for health, HRH, deployment, 67 million pesos or 6% of the fund. The above allocation will also be used to provide medical assistance for hospitalization, outpatient care services, procurement of supplies and medicines, including the issuance of Dengvaxia assistance cards to facilitate the availment of hospital services. 25 million has been allocated for the last item alone. This health assistance program will likewise entail the hiring of additional 1,250 nurses to be deployed in regions 3, 4A, 7, and the NCR region to accelerate the profiling of the vaccinees, which will include demographic profiling, assessment of pre-Dengvaxia and post-Dengvaxia medical status, and physical examinations. For the implementation of this health assistance program, the DOH will execute memoranda of agreement with different public and private hospitals to implement and facilitate the availment of the medical assistance program. The funding for this supplemental budget will come from the refund from the Zwillig Pharma, the local distributor of Dengvaxia Sanofi Pasteur, covering the unused vials of Dengvaxia vaccine, which has been remitted by the Department of Health to the Bureau of Treasury. The National Treasurer, in compliance with Section 25(4), Article 6 of the Constitution, has issued a certification that the 1.1 billion is actually available in the National Treasury to support the proposed supplemental appropriations, House Bill 7449. Lastly, Mr. President, the committee would also like to place on record that different organizations and associations representing the families of children who were administered the Dengvaxia vaccine were likewise invited during the public hearing so that they could be consulted on what their immediate needs are or how this health assistance program can be effectively implemented. These organizations representing families coming from the 4 affected regions are United Parents Against Dengvaxia, the Dengvaxia Care Organization, the Parents Alliance Justice Against Dengvaxia, and the Samahan ng Mga Magulang Anak ay Biktima ng Dengvaxia. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this bill has been certified urgent by the President. Let us do our part in allaying the fears of the parents and families of the almost 900,000 individuals, both children and adults, who had been administered with this vaccine. Dengvaxia was originally intended to help reduce, if not eradicate, the dengue incidents in the country. It was most unfortunate that the public was not informed of its accompanying risks. Let us earnestly hope that this health assistance program will not be too late in terms of making sure that we keep our children, most especially, safe and healthy. I therefore urge and appeal to this chamber that we pass immediately House Bill 7449 under Committee Report 395 without amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I believe that Senator Richard Gordon would also want to give his co-sponsorship speech. I move to recognize Senator Richard Gordon.
Senator Richard Gordon is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, and with your permission and the rest of our colleagues. Mr. President, the numerous hearings on Dengvaxia opened my eyes to a disturbing truth about our public health system. We have not been paying enough attention to the expanded program of immunization, a pillar of protection for preventable diseases of children for many decades. Vaccination, a life-saving intervention of the 20th century, has saved millions of lives around the world, from smallpox, polio, measles, tuberculosis, diphtheria, tetanus, hepatitis. And in the future, through research and development, it will save millions more from Ebola, SARS, and various strains of influenza. The principle of inoculation is well understood and accepted. To fight off a disease, one introduces a tiny weakened amount of the microbe in healthy individuals so that the immune system of the body is stimulated to build resistance to it and recognize an infective agent almost immediately and set off antibodies to overcome the microbe once the person is exposed. The key to the success of vaccination, however, is that it is given to as many people as possible because the purpose is not just to protect the individual, but to protect a lot of people. Vaccination, therefore, is highly valued because when given to a lot of people, it breaks the transmission of disease. Tumitigil po ang pagkalat ng disease. Hindi po nag-ahawa-hawa. Vaccination controls the spread of disease. That is what what's called herd immunity. Does the Philippines have the infrastructure to use vaccination as a main modality for keeping the public healthy? Absolutely. And for several decades, building on work that started in the 1970s when primary health care was introduced in the Philippines, public health centers all over the country have successfully used vaccines routinely to bring down the death rates for childhood killer diseases. In the 1990s, immunization coverage for children was as high as 95%. Even if 5% of children were not vaccinated, it was not possible for them to get sick. Pero yun, hindi na magkakasakit because disease transmission was interrupted due to herd immunity. Over the last decade, however, public health experts have sounded the alarm over the steady decline in vaccination rates. Somehow, it doesn't seem that the alarm was loud enough, or perhaps we were not listening. There are many reasons for this, and perhaps it is different from place to place, as we have a decentralized healthcare delivery system. Baka doon ang problema. But whatever the reasons are, the agency that must ensure that vaccination rates are high should sound the alarm and mobilize the financial, political, and social resources to protect children from disease through these simple and effective measures. If a president or head of state of a country, any country, needs to pay attention to one and only one thing about public health, it should be the expanded program of immunization. Why? Because it works. It saves lives. It is cost-effective. It ensures that the next generation is healthy. It is the most basic type of prevention we can confer on our children. When Dengvaxia was introduced in 2016, the expanded program of immunization was languishing with a coverage rate, and I would like to emphasize this, of 65%. Ang laki na po ng binaba. To achieve herd immunization, coverage should at least be 80%. So bumabalik po ang TB, bumabalik po yung ibang mga sakit na talagang pinangingilagan natin. 3.5 billion pesos was taken illegally from savings, taken from the miscellaneous program, benefits of employees' jobs, and put into the procurement of a new vaccine, when the expanded program of immunization was underfunded and partially implemented in many of the poorer parts of the country. The total amount budgeted for 10 vaccines that could save children's lives was less than what was spent on Dengvaxia, Sipin po ninyo yan. 10 yung diseases na binibigyan ng EPI, yung Expanded Program of Immunization, pero yung Dengvaxia sa loob lamang po ng 3 region at dinagdagan later on ng Visayas. At ito po ay only being pilot tested at the time in 3 regions. Iyan ho ang pinaglagyan ng Dengvaxia vaccine na di hamak na mas malaki sa 10 na binibigay ng vaccination. For all intents and purposes, this was an unscientific experiment of epic proportion. I will not go into further details into how this was a bad policy judgment. That is obvious to all. I will not go into further details on how this money could have been used to improve the expanded program of immunization to benefit more children, using tried and tested vaccines instead of a new unproven one that is so obvious to all. I will not go into further details on what the benefits could have been should we have paid closer attention to the miserable state of the expanded program of immunization in this country. That should be obvious to all. What I would like to talk about is how we move forward in a situation where a colossal mistake must be corrected. I would like to see an estimation of the real cost of the introduction of Dengvaxia to our health system, considering the social, political, and economic fallout that this single act of corruption has generated. I would like to see an estimation of what it will cost to bring the expanded program of immunization up to at least 85% and protect all children from preventable disease within the next 5 years. I would like to see programs that equip the health sector, the communities, and the schools with knowledge and capacity to put an end to outbreaks of diseases like measles that we do have effective vaccines. I'm looking forward to seeing the expanded program of immunization taken seriously, that we may deliver results that will serve the nation well. Mr. President, to move forward from this nightmare, we need to wake up completely. Hindi pwede yung alimpungatan lang tayo. We need to be alert. Kailangan listo tayo. I would like to think of this episode in public health history of this country as a glitch and aberration. Yung ating pong defenses ng DOH ay bumaksak at napasok ito ng negligence, corruption, whatever you want to call it. The Department of Health has for many years been a top-performing agency, and it is unfortunate, if not tragic, that it finds itself in this mess today, paralyzed by the failure of its previous leadership. I would like to think that this institution that seems to have lost its bearing can pick itself up, shake off the dust, and restore the faith of the public in its ability to do its job and to do its job well. The failure of the EPI with the rushed, reckless, and irresponsible mass vaccination with the novel dengue vaccine is not a failure of the Department of Health alone. It is a systemic failure that included the Office of the President, the Department of Budget and Management, the Department of Education, the Food and Drug Administration, among others. But the onus of responsibility falls on the DOH because it now has to respond to the unforeseen effects of a bad policy decision affecting the entire EPI, and it is our only agency that can lead us out of the dark. This act of appropriation that we put in place today will help the DOH recover and reestablish its place in our public life as a true guardian of the people's health. Kung di po natin gagawin yan, magdududa lahat ng tao sa ginagawa ng DOH. In fact, marami na pong ayaw magpabakuna dahil sa nangyari dito sa Dengvaxia. It will help the DOH assuage the suffering of thousands of children who should not have been given Dengvaxia and who may be suffering from adverse events or other conditions that were not pre-screened. Every time somebody dies today, natataranta lalo ang mga magulang at talagang bumababa lalo ang pagtitiwala ng tao sa DOH in particular and maybe the government in general. This is a gargantuan task, but we should all pitch in to help. The Philippine Red Cross has put at its disposal of the DOH its own network of volunteers and its logistics to support the response to Dengvaxia, including monitoring and surveillance, providing transportation by way of ambulances, providing food for family members who must bring their children to Manila, let's say from Aurora Province, from Pampanga, Bataan, and other areas that have been exposed to this. When the rain set in and we anticipate a dengue outbreak somewhere, we need to be prepared. The Philippine Red Cross and other agencies must support the efforts of the DOH as we cannot afford to unnecessarily lose more lives. The funds we're appropriating is not enough. Let me repeat, this amount is not enough. But at the moment, this is what we immediately have because it represents what the manufacturer refunded from unused vaccines. Mr. President, I believe this manufacturer needs to pay for damages, and we will get to that point very soon. I repeat, we will get to that point where we compel the manufacturer, Sanofi Pasteur, to pay for the harm it inflicted through its interference in the expanded program of immunization and by engaging in regulatory capture, Mr. President, of the DOH. We will make them pay, same way that other countries have made them pay for their greed. But for the moment, let us make this money that we already have available to those who need it. We are looking at support for close to 900,000 children for an undefined period of time. Sabi ng iba, habang buhay yan. Sabi ng iba, 10 years. But the way it's going, every time, ang pinag-uusapan po natin ngayon, every time somebody gets a fever, dapat wag mag-atubili, dapat dalhin ka agad sa doktor, at dapat mapatest kung umiiral yan within 3 days para sa dengue, at kung siya ay nagkaroon ng dengue, malaman kung siya ay zero-negative. In other words, sinaksakan siya ng dengue nang wala pa siyang dengue. Ibig sabihin yan, yun ay kandidato na talagang maging malubha at medyo may tama na maaaring makamatay. It is a daunting task because it requires a system. Ito na naman po, DOH has to create that system. A system for identifying those who were given the vaccine but were seronegative and therefore at greater risk for severe damage or dengue. Sapagkat dapat, nung binigay ang ineksyon na yan, yung vaccination na yan, dapat inalam na kagad kung ano ang historical record ng mga bata. E binibigay doon sa private na may doktor, pero sa dengue, sa EPI, sa Dengvaxia, para sa publiko, wala nang tanong-tanong. Bahala na si Batman kung ma-ineksyonan siya at siya pala ay zero-negative. A system for immediately transporting children with dengue to hospitals that have the capacity to save children with dengue. May napakahirap po pag may sakit yung isang tao, natatakot pumunta sa ospital, baka hindi papansirin. O di kaya naman, mamamasahe pa, malaking gastos. Eh na dengue na o na Dengvaxia na, eh yung pa mangyayari, nahihirapan sila. Kaya dapat itong pondo nito ay may gamitin sa mga gagamitin na pamasahe o ambulansya kung sakasakaling kailangan ng itakbo agad ang pasyente. Walang atubili. Pagka nilagnat yung natusukan, dapat may itakbo agad. Yun ang rule. At ito yung ginagamit ko itong platform na ito para makaalam ang tao na pagka nagkaroon ng sakit na nilalagnat at baka dengue dahil na-expose sa Dengvaxia, dapat karakarakang itakbo at pa-testing for dengue kaagad yan. A system for logistics for drugs and medicines, fluids and even blood. Nung po mga hearing, hindi po ito pwede na sasabihin ng mga magulang kung magkamisan, baka may sakit na, nagkaroon ng cancer. Hindi po yan. Ang hindi tuturing po dito ay kung na-ineksyon na sila ng Dengvaxia at nagkakaroon ng lagnat, yun ang bibigyan ng kaukulang pansin. Hindi para pagsamantalahan sa anumang sakit yung pondong ito sapagkat hindi po marami itong perang ito. A system for surveillance. Dapat lahat ng mga out-of-school youth, lahat na nasa eskwela, mga teachers, binabantayan yung mga naturukan. Ang kailangan gawin ng DOH, sabihin dito sa Senado, sabihin sa DOH, sabihin lahat doon sa mga region, kung saan sa mga eskwela nabigyan ng ineksyon o ng vaccination para alam natin kaagad kung lilipat yung estudyante sa kabilang ibayo, malalaman natin kung isa ay naandun at para pang nagkasakit ay magtutulong-tulungan ang mga teachers, magtutulong-tulungan ang Red Cross at mga barangay para madala kaagad sa ospital yung mga batang yan. A system for training. Dapat tinatrain ho lahat yung titingin sa mga batang yan. Hindi yung lagnat laki lang yan o maaaring nilalaglat lang yan. Hindi po pwede yan ngayon. Sapagkat nakita niyo hanggang sa ngayon, marami pang tumatawag sa akin, kabakailan lang, isang kaklase ng anak ko, tumawag yung kanyang secretary, yung kanyang anak na matay, 12 years old, sa dengue. At yan ho ay isang, masasabi natin, medyo kababayan. A system for referrals and transport of the sick. Sapagkat kailangan po pagdating doon, dapat meron na kagad timbre ang lahat ng ospital. Pagka lagnat o dengue kaagad, talagang matataranta na dapat in a cogent way. Talagang dapat alam na nila kung sino ang eksperto, anong gamot ang ibibigay, anong klaseng pag-hydrate, anong klaseng dugo ang kakailanganin. In short, this is not just about providing money that can go to payment. Pag binigyan ng pera, may gagastusin na tayo. Hindi po. Hindi po ito payment for services lamang. It obviously needs to simultaneously impact on the development of new capacity, matuto tayo na magkaroon ng bagong capacity to manage dengue both in the public and private sector. I do not envy the new Secretary of Health for the task at hand. I don't think anyone assigned to be Secretary of Health in this point in time will go through this turbulent time without problems. Hindi rin po ako sumasang-ayon na lahat ng magkasakit at namatay ay dengue ang naging sanhi niyan. Hindi po totoo yan. Sapagkat sa totoo lang, hindi pa ho hinog yung research na ang nakakamatay talaga yung dengue. Ang sinasabi lang dyan ay yung mga na-iniksyonan ng seronegative, pag tinamaan yan, ay talagang medyo malubha ang magiging dating sa pasyente at maaaring ikamatay. Kaya dapat tulungan rin natin kung maaari, kung may extra pang pondo yung research dito sa Pilipinas sapagkat tayo ang isa sa pinakamaraming tinatamaan ngayon ng dengue, lalo ngayong tagulan. Mabubukulan ang sino mang Secretary of Health. We are still a storm and we need steady hands. We're still in a storm and we need steady hands. I believe Secretary Duque can bring that steady and calming presence that we need. We do not have time for pity. There's no such thing as a pity party when it comes to a child with fever, not spreading dengue. There are children who have died, many of them. There are more who will get sick. We therefore need to move forward. Hindi naman pwedeng exploitin natin yung kahirapan at yung dalamhati ng mga magulang at tayo magdididipa sa television. Hindi naman ho kailangan yan. Ang kailangan ay talagang to cogently harapin kung ano ang magiging gawain natin. Ito pong pondong ito ay magdadala ng umpisa para matuto tayo at mailigtas at matuto tayo lalo sa mga programa sa immunization at sa hindi lang reaction, isang talagang magandang aksyon para mapukaw yung kahirapan na ginagawa ng mga hindi marunong magpa-vaccinate. But I will not understate my disgust over what a few people did to make money for themselves at the expense of the lives of the children. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I do not want to engage in any further debates about the safety of the vaccine or whether or not it has caused deaths. The fact of the matter is that this vaccine was not ready for mass use. It should not have been given to so many children in a haphazard and rushed way. Parents were not informed. Ito po ang pinakamalaking problema. Hindi informed consent ang binigay ng mga magulang. And systems were not in place to monitor adverse events. It was reckless. It was criminal. And everything else that followed is just a flurry of reactions to an emergency. Some responses justified. Some responses miscalculated. Some responses inappropriate. Some responses hysterical. My dear colleagues, I've worked in emergencies for many years through the Philippine Red Cross. Drawing insights from decades of experience in disasters, the noise, the pandemonium, the panic and anxiety are all typical in a situation where the agency in charge loses command and control over the systems to maintain order. A good example of that is during the last 2 days, the whole of Central Luzon was inundated by severe floods. I texted our people at the Red Cross the other day and I said, this is a silent but nonetheless a terrible tragedy. It's a silent disaster, but nonetheless a terrible tragedy. So none of the drama that has followed the Invaxia is unexpected. Makikita natin siguro sa mga susunod na araw, dumadami-dami na unti-unting namatay dito sa nakaraang bagyo. O nakaraang monsoon pa nga yun, hindi pa nga bagyo. And until systems are in place to maintain order and respond to the needs of the people in an effective and timely manner, we will expect more emotional responses, and rightly so. People are in need. We need systems to respond. So the DOH needs to get its act together, and it needs funds to do it, and the Congress must provide oversight. The funds we have in front of us is not enough, but it is enough to start anew. So this appropriation needs to be used wisely. The funds need to be used wisely to build back a better system that can respond to severe dengue now or any other types of complications that may arise among children who should not have been vaccinated. Hopefully, this signals a start of a new DOH that is capable, equipped, and that will work toward a reduction in the case fatality rate or the number of children who die because of dengue. In fact, this can become the start of an ambitious target, 0 deaths from dengue. Hopefully, this will be the start of more resources that ultimately benefit all vaccination programs. These systems, human resources, surveillance, need to increase the coverage for the expanded program of immunization. For example, TB has staged a terrible comeback. Marami po nagkakaroon ngayon ng TB At pagka ang TB ay isang tao tinamaan, kaya niya maghasik ng 10 na tao na magkaka-TB pagka siya ay nakapanghawa. I therefore move to urgently approve this measure. And with it comes my fervent prayers for those families that have lost their loved ones in the past 2 years. And I plead to our leaders now and in the future, especially in the Senate, that when we look at the budget of the DOH, we should look very carefully kung sila ay naglilipat ng bodo kabigla-bigla at kahina-hinala, biglang ililipat sa isang na malalaking pera para ibigay sa isang hindi pala test ng adequately na gamot. And therefore, Mr. President, we should also pay attention to the expanded program. We should ask the questions. Ano ba ang performance nyo ngayon sa mga ginagamot natin sa EPI? Mukhang kinukulang tayo doon. And never ever allow a pharmaceutical company to dictate and interfere with public health policy and infiltrate the highest offices of the land. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, to also co-sponsor the measure, we'd like to recognize Senator J.V. Ejercito. Mr. President.
Senator J.V. Ejercito is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I rise today to co-sponsor a very important appropriations measure under Committee Report Number 395, which appropriates the sum of 1,161,710,000 pesos as supplemental appropriations for fiscal year 2018 and for other purposes. The said measure, considered under the Senate Committee on Finance, chaired by its hardworking chair and the muse of our Senate, Senator Lauren Legarda, will ensure the protection and welfare of the dengue vaccine recipients. This supplemental appropriation will be used as support fund to cover the medical needs of the children who receive the vaccination. This representation filed a similar measure, Senate Bill number 1769, which aims to establish a medical assistance program for the dengue vaccines. Said bill was initially referred to the Committee on Health and Demography, but was later on transferred to and considered by the Finance Committee. Mr. President, according to the Department of Health, there are more than 830,000 children inoculated of the dengue vaccine, which is supposed to present the occurrence of severe dengue among the population. However, instead of obtaining this objective, the children have been reported to have allegedly developed different adverse effects from headache to death. These alarming incidents among the vaccinees are attributed to earlier announcement of Sanofi Pasteur, the manufacturer of dengue vaccine, regarding a new clinical finding on the vaccine's adverse effect on its recipients. Nagkaroon nga po ng investigasyon ang Blue Ribbon Committee joint with the Committee on Health and Demography upang malaman ang pananagutan ng mga opisyal ng gobyerno sa pagpapatupad ng programa. Nagkaroon din tayo ng pagkakataon upang mapakinggan ang mga magulang ng mga batang nabakunahan. Nakakalungkot po na marinig ang pangunguli ng mga magulang na namatayan ng mga anak at ang pangamba ng mga magulang na baka isang araw ang anak naman nila ang magkaroon ng malubhang karamdaman dulot ng natanggap na bakuna. In fact, Mr. President, my eldest son was also one of those children who were given or inoculated with the dengue vaccine. In view of this and the public interest involved, immediate action should be taken to guarantee the welfare of the children. The fund that will be allocated shall finance the assistance to the dengue vaccinees, which shall include, but not limited to, their hospitalization, outpatient healthcare services, and deployment of health personnel, among others. Mr. President, malaking tulong po ang alokasyon na ito upang masigurado natin na mabigyan ng karapatang lunas at atensyon medikal ang mga bata. Dahil po sa takot na dulot ng dengue vaccine, pati po ang ibang vaccination programs ng gobyerno ay naapektuhan na. Malaking tulong po ito upang maalis ang pangamba ng mga magulang at maibalik ang tiwala nila sa mga programang pangkalusugan ng gobyerno. In view of the foregoing premise, this representation urged this august body to support the immediate approval of this measure. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, to give time for our colleagues to continue to study the measure, I move that we suspend consideration
Any
of the said bill.
objection? Chair hears none. Committee Report 395 is hereby suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, may we request for a 1-minute suspension to allow our sponsor, Senator Sani Angara, to sponsor his measures. Move for 1-minute suspension.
Session is suspended.
With you, my dear. We're close na the period of interpretation. You ready?
Reporting for duty.
1 second, boss. I'll just do Sunny first, Lisa, then you. Ready to issue, Mr. President?
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, I move to transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to calendar of special order Senate Bill number 1843. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to consider Senate Bill number 1843 and request the Secretary to read the title of the
The
measure.
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
Senate Bill 1843, an act establishing and institutionalizing the seal of good local governance for local government units and allocating for this purpose the seal of good local governance fund.
Mr. President, to recognize, to sponsor the measure, may we call Senator Sonny Angara.
Senator Sani Angara is recognized to sponsor the measure.
Thank you, Mr. President, Majority Leader, dear colleagues. I rise today to sponsor a measure institutionalizing the Department of Interior and Local Government's Seal of Good Local Governance, or the SGLG program, which has, by most accounts, pushed many provinces, cities, and municipalities to operate more efficiently, more effectively, and with more transparency and accountability. May I also manifest that Senator Win Gatchalian has expressed his desire to be listed as co-author of this measure. This program should be enshrined as law of the land, for we believe that there must always be a policy that recognizes and rewards good governance, especially when it is accomplished by our provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. Ang SGLG o ang pagkilala sa katapatan at kahusayan ng pamahalang lokal ay masasabing anak ng programang binuo at inulunsad ng dating DILG Secretary Jesse Robredo, ang magkaakibat na Seal of Good Housekeeping or SGH na pinilot noong 2010 at ang Performance Challenge Fund. Ginagawa ng Seal of Good Housekeeping ang mga LGU na nag-implementa ng good financial housekeeping at full disclosure policies alinsunod sa mga patakaran at pamantayan ng Commission on Audit or COA. Kapag mabigyan ng SGH ang isang LGU, magkakaroon siya ng access sa isang cash grant, 1 million kung munisipyo, 3 million kung lungsod, at 7 million pesos kung probinsya mula sa Performance Challenge Fund o PCF para sa isang proyekto na aprobado ng Department of Interior and Local Government. Ito'y ginawa para magsilbing insentibo sa mga LGU na ayusin at pagandahin ang kanilang pagpapatakbo sa lokal na pamahalaan. Sa SGH, hindi lang sinigurado na may tamang financial management processes ang mga LGU, marami ding local projects ang napondohan dahil dito. Dahil sa SGH, hindi na kailangan lumangoy papunta sa Ambay ang mga mangingisda ng San Jose Dinagat Islands dahil maayos na ngayon ang kanilang pantalan. May maiinom na malinis na tubig sa mga barangay ng Homasan, Santo Niño at Pungtod sa munisipyo ng San Agustin, Surigao del Sur. Hindi na kailangan mag-aral sa ilalim ng punong mangga ang mga estudyante ng San Isidro Public Elementary School sa barangay San Isidro, Minalin, Pampanga, gumanda ang daan sa ilang barangay ng Kalimba, Misamis Occidental. Nagkaroon naman ng processing center ang mga gumagawa ng ginamos o shrimp paste sa Anilao, Iloilo. Talagang malaki ang tulong sa mga LGU ng Seal of Good Housekeeping or SGH. Bukod kasi sa cash grant mula sa Performance Challenge Fund, nagsisilbing requirement din ang SGH para makapangutang ang LGU sa land bank o kaya mapabilang sila sa ilang proyekto ng gobyerno. Masasabing nagtagumpay ang programa ng SGH ayon sa datos ng DILG nitong nakaraang Abril 2018, halos 92% na raw ng mga probinsya, lungsod at munisipyo ang nabigyan ng SGH. Marahil nalalapit ang panahon kung saan lahat ng LGU ay magkakaroon ng SGH. Kaya kinakailangan na palawakin palalo ang programa at paigtingin ang mga pamantayan nito. Kailangan tuloy-tuloy na maudyok ang mga LGU na pagandahin palalo ang kanilang serbisyo sa publiko. Kaya po inilunsad ang SGLG noong 2014 na halos kawangis ng SGH pero mas pinaigting at pinahigpit ang criteria nito. We do this so that more of our LGUs will be incentivized to pursue good governance. If they fulfill the criteria and earn the recognition of the seal, they will then be rewarded with the following, Mr. President: a cash incentive of an amount determined by the SGLG Council, the eligibility to gain funding from the Performance Challenge Fund for projects under their respective jurisdictions, and a vote of confidence on their creditworthiness, which means access to loans. Marami na rin po ang naawardan ng SGLG, tulad ng Santa Maria Laguna, Bacoor City, Mabalacat City, at iilan pa. Iilan lamang po ito sa higit na 1,000 na SGLG awardees nitong nakaraang 3 taon. Ang bawat isa sa kanila marahil pinagyayabang ang kanilang tagumpay. Madalas, ang marker ng SGLG ay pinapaskil sa harapan ng mga kapitolyo o kaya ng municipal or city hall. Parang medalya o diploma na nakasabit sa dingding ng sala para makita ng lahat. Tila ito'y simbolo na patuloy na nagpupursige ang LGU para pagandahin palalo ang kanilang pamamalakad sa pamahalaan. At dahil padami ng padami ang mga nabibigyan ng SGLG, mag-qualify ang mga LGU kung pasado sila sa 3 core assessment areas at isang essential assessment area. Nagbago po ito 2018, itong taong 2018. Dahil ayon sa Memorandum Circular 2018-49 ng DILG, kailangan pasado sa minimum requirements ng bawat criteria para maging qualified sa SGLG ang isang LGU. Ibig pong sabihin, dapat all-in ang LGU. Di hamak na mas mahirap ngayon ang mga piling recipient ng SGLG. Sang-ayon po tayo rito dahil kaya ito'y nakaloob sa ating panukalang batas. Habang DILG ang nanatiling lead implementing agency, nakasaad naman sa aming panukala na magkakaroon ng Interagency Council of Good Local Governance na nakatuon sa pangasiwa at pag-implementa ng SGLG program. Kasama sa council na ito ang DILG, DBM, DOF, NEDA at mga representante mula sa Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines or ULAP at ng mga civil society organizations. Ang council na ito ay pangangasiwaan ng secretary ng DILG. Pinapalawak rin ng ating panukala ang coverage ng SGLC para makasama naman ang mga barangay. Minamandato naman ang SGLG Council na gumawa ng hiwalay na kriteria para dito bilang pagkilala na hindi magkapareho ang tungkulin ng barangay sa tungkulin ng ibang LGU. Minamandato naman ng ating panukala na tulungan ng mga national government agencies ang mga LGU na hindi pasado sa mga assessment areas ng SGLG base sa mga governance assessment reports ng DILG. Sa ganitong paraan, masisigurado na bawat LGU ay may pagkakataon para pumasa. Magbubuo rin ng SGLG Incentive Fund na may halagang 1 billion pesos, kawangis ng Performance Challenge Fund. Sa SGLG Incentive Fund, kukunin ang cash grant para sa mga nagagawaran ng SGLG. Nasa council naman ang kapangyarihan o ang flexibility para tukuyin kung ano ang halaga ng mga insentibo na ibibigay sa mga awardee. In conclusion, Mr. President, halos dekada na po ang nakalipas mula nung naisabatas ang Local Government Code at habang maraming pagbabago ang nagaganap sa bansa, marapat na pagtuunan muli ng pansin kung paano pa natin palalawigin ang kakayahan ng ating mga LGU, maging ang kabuang pagtakbo ng ating pamahalaan. Masasabi na ang pagsasabatas ng SGLG kasabay ng pagsasabatas ng iba po nating panukala base sa Local Government Code Review, ng Freedom of Information at ng Budget Reform Measures ay isa sa mga hakbang para magkaroon ng mas mabisang lokal na pamahalaan sa buong bansa. DILG Secretary Jesse Robredo once said, "It's not enough that an official is good, there has to be a system that forces them to be good." One could argue that in our democracy, regular elections fulfill this function. Ordinary citizens incentivize their public officials to do good and represent their interests through the promise of their votes and continued support. Arguably, the SGLG program functions in a similar manner by acting as an incentive framework for LGUs to reach high governance standards. That is, by becoming the system that forces our public officials to do good by their people. Sana may sabatas po natin ito sa madaling panahon. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senator Gatchalian also wants to co-sponsor this measure, and so we suspend, and he'll do this tomorrow, Mr. President, with the permission of Senator Sani Angara and for other people to study the measure, our colleagues. We move to suspend consideration of the said measure, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, the consideration of Senate Bill 1843 is hereby suspended.
Mr. President, I move to transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to the calendar for special order, House Bill number 990. It's all local, sir. Kalamba.
House Bill 990, any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Is this a speech for both?
Yeah, one for both.
One for both?
One speech for both.
The sponsorship speech of the good gentleman from our honor, Mr. President, is for a sponsorship speech for two House bills. One happens to be number 990, and the other one happens to be House Bill number 6331. So we have to take it up one.
So we'd like to, well, the motion that we approved is for us to take up 990.
Yes, Mr. President. We'll start with 990 because we have to
Right.
do it one by one. So I
Yes.
move to recognize the sponsor, Mr. President.
Senator Sani Angara
Thank
is
you, sir.
recognized.
Just an inquiry, Mr. President, Majority Leader. May I deliver the speech that, because the subject matter of the speech covers the two bills, so that is allowed with the indulgence of our colleagues, Mr. President?
We,
These are local bills,
no,
Mr.
no.
President,
You
yeah.
just deliver your speech. The suggestion of the chair is that you deliver your speech. And then when we take up the second bill, you can refer to that, that
Okay.
particular speech and use it as also a sponsorship speech.
We'll do that, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President, Majority Leader, distinguished colleagues. Tayo po ay tumatayo ngayon upang isulong ang mga panukalang naglalayong gawing isang legislative district ang Calamba City at gawing 2 distrito ang lalawigan ng Southern Leyte. Ang Republic Act 9024 ay naipasa noong 2001 na naging dahilan upang maging syudad ang Calamba. Since then, aside from being a first-class city in the province of Laguna, the city of Calamba now also serves as the seat of the regional government center of the whole Calabarzon region. Ang dati namang ikatlong distrito ng Leyte ay formal na naging probinsya ng Southern Leyte dahil sa pagsasabatas ng Republic Act 2227 noong taong 1960. Kilala ang probinsyang ito bilang major producer ng abaca fiber at naninilbihan ring gateway para sa inter-island transportation ng mga tao at produkto sa pagitan ng Liloan sa Cebu at Surigao del Norte. Kung ikukumpara po natin sa mga anak ng isang pamilya, ang mga lugar na ito ay may sapat na gulang na, young adults kumbaga. Meron na silang magagandang pinagkakakitaan at patuloy pa ang kanilang pag-aasenso. Dahil dyan, nararapat lang na sila ay hayaang tumayo sa kanilang mga sariling paa at magkaroon ng mas malaking papel sa ating lipunan. Mr. President, ayon sa saligang batas, kung ang isang lungsod ay may populasyon higit sa 250,000 or 250,000, maaari na itong magkaroon ng sariling kinatawan sa Kamara. Kung pagbabatayan po natin ang pinakahuling datos ng census noong 2015, ang kasalukuyang ikalawang distrito ng Laguna ay may 937,282 residents at halos kalahati or 454,486 nito ay mula sa Calamba City. According to the Constitution, Mr. President, every province should also have a representative in the lower house. It is up to Congress to decide if a province is to be decided into different legislative districts. Consider how since 1961, Southern Leyte Province has only had one legislative district. In other words, only one congressman to represent the province's interests in Congress. In the intervening years, the province's population has doubled. Perhaps it is time to consider reapportioning the province's legislative districts as proposed by Southern Leyte Representative Oging Mercado. Sa laki ng populasyon ng mga nabanggit, marapat lamang na magkaroon na sila ng maayos na representasyon sa pamahalaan na siyang tututok sa mga pangangailangan ng kanilang mga pinagsisilbihan at ihatid ito sa pambansang gobyerno. It stands to reason that in providing for more representatives to relay the concerns of the constituents of large and densely populated communities, the national government can better address their issues and problems. Sa laki at patuloy na pag-unlad ng mga syudad at probinsya, tama lamang na ito'y pagkalooban na ng kakatawan sa kanila sa nasyonal na gobyerno. Kapag may sa batas, mas makikilala ang syudad ng Calamba at ang probinsya ng Southern Leyte bilang mga pamayanan na mayaman, produktibo at progresibo. Thank you, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, move to suspend consideration of House Bill number 990. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, House Bill 990 is hereby, consideration is hereby suspended.
Mr. President, I move to transfer the calendar of ordinary business to the calendar for special order, House Bill number 6331, Mr. President.
House Bill 6331
31.
is
Transferred, sir.
transferred from the calendar.
Yes.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
I move to consider, Mr. President.
May
House
we
Bill
ask the
number-
Secretary to read the title
Yes,
of the measure?
and read the title of the measure.
House Bill number 6331, an act providing for the reapportionment of the province of Southern Leyte into 2 legislative districts.
Mr. President, I move to recognize the sponsor for the segment.
Senator Sani Angara is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, Majority Leader, dear colleagues. May I refer to the previous speech, and I have it inserted as the sponsorship speech for this measure, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, the sponsorship speech of the previous measure is hereby used as the sponsorship speech for this measure also.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to
Majority
suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 63.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you,
Measure
Mr.
is
President.
suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader.
And last item on the agenda, Oh, okay, there's a request. We move for the additional reference of business, Mr. President.
The additional reference of business, the Secretary will proceed with the additional reference of business.
Additional reference of business, communications, letters from the Office of the President of the Philippines transmitting to the Senate 2 original copies of the following Republic Act's joint resolution which were signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Republic Act Number 10982 entitled An Act Establishing an Elementary School in Barangay Ugong, Valenzuela City to be known as Antonio M. Serapio Elementary School and appropriating funds therefore.
Mahaba ito.
Republic Act Number 10983 entitled An Act Establishing a National High School in Barangay Concepcion 2 in the 2nd District, City of Marikina to be known as SSS National High School and appropriating funds therefore. Republic Act Number 10984 entitled An Act Establishing a National Technical Vocational High School in Barangay Nasisi, City of Ligao, Province of Albay to be known as Ligao City National Technical Vocational High School and appropriating funds therefore.
Mr. President,
The Minority Leader is recognized.
Mr. President, I noticed that in this additional reference of business, these are just, for the record, transmitting to the Senate the copies of the Republic Act signed by the President.
Yes.
There are no referrals here to any committee, we move that with without objection from the Majority Leader, that this be considered as read into the record so that we do not have to do actual reading.
Yes, the Majority Leader.
We support that, Mr. President.
There being
Permission of the
no
body.
objection, this additional reference of business will be all referred to the archives.
Could we also-
To the archives. There is now a second additional reference of business.
Yes, Mr. President.
Proceed with the second additional reference of business.
Yes, Mr. President, proceed to second additional reference. of business.
Second additional reference of business, messages from the House of Representatives. Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 30 May 2018, it passed House Number 6475 entitled An Act Providing for the Basic Law for the Autonomous Region in the Bangsamoro, repealing for the purpose Republic Act Number 9054 entitled An Act to Strengthen and Expand the Organic Act for the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, and Republic Act Number 6734 entitled An Act Providing for an Organic Act for the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and for other purposes in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate.
To the archives.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 30 May 2018, it designated Representatives Fariñas, Acharon Jr., Papandayan Jr., Sahali, Sema, Bondok, Defensor Jr., Pimentel, De Vera, Albano III, Sangkopan, Palma II, Lebrigat, Dimaporo K, Dimaporo A, Acop, Haloshos, and Tan as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions of House Number 6475 entitled An Act Providing for the Basic Law for the Autonomous Region in the Bangsamoro, repealing for the purpose Republic Act Number 9054 entitled An Act to Strengthen and Expand the Organic Act for the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, and Republic Act Number 6734 entitled An Act Providing for an Organic Act for the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and for other purposes, and its counterpart Senate Number 1717.
To the archives.
Bills on first reading, Senate Number 1840 entitled An Act Creating an Additional Branch of Regional Trial Court in the 3rd District of Zamboanga del Norte to be stationed in the municipality of Liloy, amending for the purpose Section 14, Paragraph J of Batas Pambansa Bilang 129, otherwise known as the Judiciary Reorganization Act of 1980, and appropriating funds therefore introduced by Senator Zubiri.
Referred to the Committees on Justice and Finance.
Senate Number 1841 entitled An Act Abolishing the Travel Tax introduced by Senator Aquilino Coco Pimentel III.
Referred to the Committees on Ways and Means, Tourism and Finance.
Senate Number 1844 entitled An Act Prohibiting the Use of BPA in Baby Food Packaging and Containers, providing for its replacement with the least toxic alternative introduced by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Referred to the Committees on Trade and Health.
Senate Number 1845 entitled an act declaring January 6 of every year a special working holiday to commemorate the death and contributions of Josefa Llanes Escoda, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
To the Committee on Education, Arts and Culture.
Senate Number 1846, entitled An Act Declaring November 21 of every year a special working holiday to commemorate the death and contributions of Francisca Reyes Aquino, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Referred to the Committee on Education, Arts and Culture.
Senate Number 1847, entitled An Act Declaring March 2 of every year a special working holiday to commemorate the death and contributions of Tandang Sora, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Referred to the Committee on Education, Arts and Culture.
Senate Number 1848, entitled An Act Declaring September 20 of every year a special working holiday to commemorate the death and contributions of Gabriela Silang, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Referred to the Committee on Education, Arts and Culture.
Senate Number 1849, entitled An Act Declaring August 6 of every year a special working holiday to commemorate the death and contributions of Dr. Fe del Mundo, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Referred to the Committee on Education, Arts and Culture.
Senate Number 1851, entitled An Act Regulating the Use of Plastic Bags and for Other Purposes, introduced by Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay.
Referred to the Committees on Environment, Natural Resources, and Trade.
Resolutions. Resolution Number 760, entitled Resolution Urging the Senate Committee on Civil Service and Government Reorganization to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the conflict of interest of Solicitor General Jose Calida arising from security service contracts between national government agencies and Vigilant Investigative and Security Agency, Inc., introduced by Senators Ontiveros, Drilon, Aquino IV, Pangilinan, Trillanes IV, and De Lima.
Referred to the Committees on Civil Service and the Public Accountability of Public Officers.
PS Resolution Number 761, entitled Resolution Expressing the Grave Concern of the Senate over the increasing militarization by the People's Republic of China in the West Philippine Sea and South China Sea, and urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to file a diplomatic protest against the same, introduced by Senators Pangilinan, Recto, Drilon, Aquino IV, Ontiveros, Trillanes IV, Ejercito, and De Lima.
To the Committee on Rules.
PS Resolution Number 762, entitled Resolution Directing the Senate Committee on Accountability of Public Officers and Investigations to investigate in aid of legislation on the alleged unauthorized transfer of 10.6 billion PhilHealth funds allotted for senior citizens to the Department of Health, introduced by Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito.
This is 762?
762.
Blue Ribbon, referred to the Committee on Accountability. Mr. Go ahead.
PS Resolution Number 763, entitled Resolution Directing the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture, and Finance to find feasible ways and means to substantially increase the base pay and benefits of public school teachers, to ensure that teaching will attract and retain its rightful share of the best available talents, to ensure parity in the salaries of civilian and military and uniformed personnel, and to provide teachers with a meaningful standard of living commensurate to their service to the country, introduced by Senator Grace Poe.
Referred to the Committees on Education and Finance. Civil Service and Finance.
PS Resolution Number 764, entitled Resolution Directing the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs to conduct an investigation in aid of legislation on the spate of killings and attempted killings of Catholic priests, introduced by Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Referred to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
Committee reports. Committee report number 396, prepared and submitted by the Committee on Local Governments on Senate number 1849, with Senators Lacson, Trillanes IV, and Angara as authors thereof, entitled An Act Amending Section 450 of Republic Act number 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, as amended by Republic Act number 9009, by exempting from the population and land area requirements the conversion of a municipality into a component city if it has a locally generated average income of at least 250 million pesos, recommending its approval in substitution of Senate numbers 233 and 643, taking into consideration House number 4149, sponsor Senator Sonny Angara.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report on 397, prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Local Government and Finance on Senate number 1843 with Senators Angara and Ligarda as authors thereof, entitled An Act Establishing and Institutionalizing the Seal of Good Local Governance for Local Government Units and Allocating for the purpose the Seal of Good Local Governance Fund, recommending its approval in substitution of Senate number 1656. Sponsor, Senator Sani Angara.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 398, submitted by the Committee on Local Government on Senate number 1789, introduced by Senator Angara, entitled An Act to Enhance the Use of National Wealth for Local Development by amending certain provisions in Book 2 of Republic Act 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, recommending its approval without amendment. Sponsor, Senator Sani Angara.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 399, prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Health and Demography, Education, Arts and Culture, Local Government, Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development, Ways and Means, and Finance on Senate number 1850 with Senators Ejercito, Binay, Angara, Villanueva, De Lima, Legarda, Trillanes IV, Recto, Poe, and Villar as authors thereof, entitled An Act Institutionalizing a National Integrated Cancer Control Program and Appropriating Funds Therefore, recommending its approval in substitution of Senate numbers 1545 and 1570, taking into consideration Senate numbers 405, 495, 528, 588, 595, 614, 830, 874, 1048, and 1201. Sponsor, Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito.
To the calendar for ordinary business. The majority leader, the minority leader.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
May we know why proposed Senate Resolution number 761, entitled Resolution Expressing the Grave Concern of the Senate over the increasing militarization by the People's Republic of
761.
China in the West Philippine Sea and South China Sea, and urging the Department of Foreign Affairs to file a diplomatic protest against the same, is referred to the Committee on Rules.
Mr. President?
By tradition, the minority leader, Your Honors, by tradition, resolutions expressing the sense of the Senate is usually referred to the Committee on Rules.
We regularly realize that, Mr. President. However, considering that this is a very substantive resolution, I think it deserves a committee hearing before the same can be adopted by the chamber. We do realize that this is a sense of the Senate resolution, but this is not an ordinary sense of the Senate resolution which we can just take up on the floor after the Committee on Rules have gone over the same. May we request the majority leader to consider referring this to the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
Well, now that we have referred it to the Committee on Rules, the procedure can be done so, and that the majority leader may be able to refer it to a proper committee.
Either that
he
or
so
I
wishes.
ask for a reconsideration of the referral to the Committee on Rules and refer it to the Foreign Relations Committee, or the majority leader can report it out as chairman of the Committee on Rules and refer it to the Foreign Relations Committee. Either one, Mr. President.
Yes,
Mr.
the
President.
majority leader.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to the Honorable Minority Leader for pointing that out and being clarified by the Secretariat. I have no problem, Mr. President, actually just referring it today to the appropriate committee so we can hear it immediately. And Foreign Relations and National Defense, joint hearing. Mr. President, I move to refer. PS
Yeah.
PS Resolution. I move to refer PS Resolution number 76 to the Committees of Foreign Relations and the Secondary Committee of National Defense to hear the said measure, Mr. President. I so move.
Any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to, with the permission of the Minority Leader and those of us who are here, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 1391. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, Senate Bill 1391's consideration is in order.
Mr. President, the status of the measure it's under the period of interpellation, and I move to recognize the sponsor, Senator Risa Hontiveros.
Senator Risa Ontiveros is recognized.
This is on mandatory PhilHealth coverage for PWD, sir. A very happy bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, good Majority Leader. Mr. President, no other member of the chamber has registered to interpellate this bill. And
That is correct, Mr.
yes,
President.
Mr.
There's no other
President.
member. As I mentioned, it's a happy bill. And I think the PWDs will really, the persons with disabilities would really appreciate this measure. So I move to close the period of interpellation, Mr. President.
Any objection? There being none, the period of interpellation is hereby closed.
Mr. President, I move to open the period of amendments.
Any objection? There being none, we are now in the period of amendments. Committee amendments?
no committee amendments, Mr. President.
There are no committee amendments, Mr.
And no individual
Majority
amendments,
Leader.
Your Honors. And no individual amendments. So we move to close the period of amendments, sir.
Motion to close the period of committee and individual amendments. Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, good Majority
Therefore,
Leader.
Mr. President, I move to approve on second reading. What bill number is this again?
This is
1391.
Senate Bill.
Yes, Senate Bill
Mr.
number
President.
1391 under Committee Report number 53.
Any objection? There being none, Senate Bill 1391 is approved on second reading.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. President, and good
move
Majority
to,
Leader.
thank you, congratulations, is in order, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to suspend consideration on Senate Bill number 1391.
Any objection? There being none, consideration of Senate Bill 1391 is hereby suspended.
Just, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, just a few housekeeping matters. Mr. President, upon conferring with the concerned committee chairpersons, I move to transfer from the Committee on Education, Arts and Culture to the Committee on Local Government as the primary committee, House Bill number 6820, entitled An Act Declaring July 23 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Batangas, province of Batangas, in commemoration of its founding anniversary, known as the Batangas City Foundation Day. So moved.
Any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Also, Mr. President, I move to transfer Senate Bill number 1273, entitled An Act Granting Philippine Citizenship to Bruce Donald McTavish, from the Committee on Rules to the Committee of Justice and Human Rights, so that they can proceed with their hearings.
Any objection? There being none, motion is approved.
And just a last few items, Mr. President, on the bicameral conference committee conferees, Mr. President. With the permission of the body, I move that we proceed with the Senate President's designation of the following members as conferees on the part of the Senate to the bicameral conference committee on the disagreeing provisions on House Bill number 6465, an act converting Northwestern Mindanao State College of Science and Technology in the city of Tangub, province of Misamis Occidental, into State University to be known as University of Northwestern Mindanao, UNM, and appropriating funds thereof. They are Senator Chis Escudero as chairman, Senator Ralph Recto, and Senator Bam Aquino on the part of the minority. I so move.
Senator Escudero as chair, Senator Recto and Senator Bam Aquino are hereby designated as conferees.
Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move that we proceed with the Senate President's designation. The following members as conferees to the part of the Senate on the disagreeing provisions on House Bill 6031, entitled An Act Mandating the Integration of Maasin City College into the Southern Leyte State University. They are Senator Francis Escudero as chairman, Senator Ralph Recto, and Senator Bam Aquino on the part of the minority. So moved.
Senator Escudero, Senator Recto, and Senator Aquino are hereby designated as conferees.
Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move to proceed as well the election of the the approval of the conferees for the disagreeing provisions on House Bill number 6202, an act establishing the South Cotabato State College in the municipality of Surala, province of South Cotabato, integrating therewith Surala National Agricultural School located in the municipality of Surala. Mr. President, they are Senator Francis Escudero as chairman, Senator J.V. Ejercito, and Senator Bam Aquino.
So designated.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The Majority Leader,
Yes, Mr. President.
the rule is that the Senate President designate them. We do not need to read this all into the record. So to facilitate the procedure, for House Bill 5780, Senators Escudero, Recto, and Aquino are hereby designated as conferees.
That's correct, Mr. President.
For House Bill 6030, Senator Escudero, Recto, and Bam Aquino are hereby designated as conferees.
That's correct, Mr. President.
For House Bill 6203, Senator Escudero, Grace Poe, and Senator Bam Aquino are hereby designated as conferees.
That's correct, Mr. President. Thank you for making my job a lot faster
Thank you.
and easier. I have to learn.
Yeah,
from the
I noticed that the
former
Minority
Senate
Leader is already
minority
hungry.
Yes. So therefore, with that, Mr. President, I move that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Wednesday, July 25, 2018. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Wednesday, July 25, 2018.
Thank you.